On a chilly morning in Nairobi, I meet up with 40-years-old Eliud Chichi, who had just come from seeing a doctor. As chatty and full of enthusiasm as he may seem, there's an untold story of prolonged medical suffering.
The journey wasn't cool. That was, it is, I call it a no pain, no gain. You understand? You're gaining while in pains. You understand? I received a lot of injections. You understand? From 1999 to 2007.
It's been 2 decades now since Chichi quit his job as a deep-sea diver and a DJ to look for treatment to what was initially diagnosed and treated as pneumonia. He was later diagnosed with drug-resistant TB, and after completion of the treatment, he developed serious complications.
My chest, they say, is collapsed with fibrosis. You understand? I did an echo test which showed that my heart moved to the right side because of the space. You understand, this space is open.
Drug-resistant TB is a form of tuberculosis infection caused by bacteria that are resistant to treatment with at least 2 of the most powerful first-line anti-TB drugs, isoniazid and rifampicin, and therefore patients are put to the second-line drugs. These second-line drugs are toxic and are taken on a daily basis for 9 months. Last year, Kenya recorded 577 people with drug-resistant TB, while 1/3 of last year's reported cases were reported in the first quarter of this year. If the current trajectory of infection remains the same, 670 cases are expected by the end of the year. Evelyn is a TB advocate with Stop TB who has been working closely with Chichi and understands his journey.
He can no longer be able to perform such tasks. What does that mean to this country's economy? Remember, we have invested so much on his treatments. And then he ends up not being as productive to the economy as he was before. He also has to incur so much in seeking for treatment of these side effects. Right now, he has a monthly prescription that he has to buy. Remember, he has no job. He has an NHIF. But NHIF that comes with its own condition because, for example, NHIF at Kenyatta National Hospital does not cater for outpatients. He's an outpatient at Kenyatta National Hospital. Therefore, the NHIF is not helping him at all.
The first national TB patient cost survey that was released recently indicated that patients with drug-resistant TB incurred 145,000 Kenya shillings per episode, 6 times higher the total cost than DSTB, which is the TB that is not resistant, and was 25,000 Kenya shillings. Out of the 145,000 Kenya shillings, medical costs consume 4%, which is only 5,800 Kenya shillings. Indirect costs consume 23,000 Kenya shillings, which is 16%, while non-medical costs consume 80%, which equates to 116 Kenya shillings of the total cost. The survey further attributed the high cost among the drug resistance to nutritional supplements and hours of productivity lost during the treatment. Although there are no clear guidelines on how costs emerging due to the side effects such as hearing loss, kidney and liver failures that is experienced by some patients, Evelyn believes that a more visionary plan for the patients can help a lot.
I feel there is a gap in the amount that the government invests in research to come up with better, less toxic drugs. Whenever we have drugs that have been passed, for example, at the WHO level, the country takes so long to adopt the new drugs and also to roll them out.
Cost aside, one of the main threats to drug resistance patients come before they even know what illness they have. Mother Njoki is a mother of 3 who lost her daughter a few months ago after making rounds to different facilities, only for young Joyce to be diagnosed with drug-resistant TB and later developed complications.
Kesho yake ndio daktari alikuja, kakuja na zile pipes za kutoa kikohozi. Sababu nasikia hakuwa anatoa kikohozi. Lakini alimbebeleza sana, alikuwa daktari mwanaume. Akambebeleza sana, wakacheza. Joyce alitoa at least kikohozi kidogo. sababu alimwambia hizo pipes ni shugu sana kumuingiza kwa mwili. Yeye akakubali na akatoa kidogo, akaenda akapima, by saa 8 akakuja kaniambia results zimetoka na ameona hiyo TB ni ile inaitwa MDR. Mimi hata sikuwa naelewa MDR ni nini.
40% of the TB cases in Kenya are not diagnosed. According to the National Prevalence Survey, Kenya is ranked among the 22 high-burden countries. Mother believes that a lot has to be done to prevent these complications that arise with the treatment.
Sio rahisi, sababu hiyo kitu huwaga inaleta shida baadaye, sababu kitu ulikuwa umezoea kukaa nayo tena kukaa bila inakuwaga gumu. Kwanza usiku ndio hizo vitu unaonanga kuna kitu umekosa, kama stima ikienda off unaamuka vile ulikuwa umezoea, kama ni mchana.
Dr. Irungu Karoga from the National TB Program says that the complications patients suffer are traceable back to late diagnosis.
Now, with TB, one of the problems that you have had is late diagnosis, such that by the time we diagnose TB, the bacteria has pretty much, caused a lot of effects on the lungs. Fibrosis, so that you're not able to breathe, normally like, the rest of us will do. And it's very unfortunate because pretty much there's nothing we can do at that point. So what we do is that, one, we'll still put you on treatment to prevent further damage and so that it stops there, and then follow you up during the course of treatment.
Chichi's life was changed because of a late diagnosis. Mother is picking up the pieces after drug-resistant TB that wasn't caught in time killed her daughter. With missing cases of TB in Kenya, one can only hope that their stories are exception to the rule. Iqra, Salah, Nairobi.